OCE Championship League Play 5 with Yummy Cheeseman, Courier and Hysterics here. And we're at the half-time mark, so for those of you who have just tuned in, let's get you up to speed on our $25,000 tournament that leads into RLCS.
$25,000 here, and then when you get to the World Championship, another $250,000.
That is an insane amount of money, and anyone that can make it is instantly a professional gamer.
Now, of course, we know where a couple of teams sit already. We have Legs of Silly sitting in 7th, and Lovedex, who played earlier, sitting in 8th. But of course, we've got our top 2 as well.
Lovedex and Legs of Silly are already knocked out. We know our top 6, and it's just about deciding the ordering.
And seeding is critical because it decides whether or not you get that extra life going into the finals, or if you just get to skip the run and go all the way through.
Well, Chiefs sitting 1st and 2nd, and for the rest of today, we're going to find out exactly, like you said, where everyone sits. And because seeding is so crucial, the next couple of games, especially even the last game, is going to decide fate.
They're all going to be real nail biters.
Especially this one that's coming up with Darkside and Legacy, teams that were wanting to make that top 2 finish, so it's going to be critical for deciding the top 4.
Now, as we start that countdown timer for you all at home, let's talk a little bit more about Legacy and Darkside. And Legacy just came off a huge win against Tainted Minds, and they've just secured 2nd as well.
They looked like the second best team. I mean, if we said how they were going to play against Chiefs earlier in the season, it looked like they could potentially match up against them, but they could definitely match up against Darksided.
And Darksided is a power to be reckoned with, because when they're in control, you know they're in control. They have a pressure play that locks everyone out of the pitch, and you just see them shot after shot after shot against your
Even
goals.
though it's a different roster, this is also the rematch from 2 seasons ago, where it went to a Game 5 overtime in the lower bracket, and Legacy Esports, or most importantly, Cyrix, was left heartbroken and just couldn't quite make it.
Will it happen again? Not so sure. This is a very different Legacy lineup, and for Darksided especially, after taking the defeat to Tainted Minds last week, maybe they feel a little bit disheartened.
Hopefully not a Dumbo situation again where he gets right to the edge and has the dream pulled out like a rug.
It was so close as well, but both of them need as much games as they can. Legacy trying to get a couple of games, they need just minimum 2 games to get into that top 2. Darksided need to win so that they can secure their top 4 placement.
And they do have a good opportunity. Both of these teams are key contenders, and Darksiding going up against them, I'm seeing the middle of the field is going to be where it's at.
I think they're both incredibly similar playstyles. If they were, or, you know, the way that they both want to go is the same, very structured style, defensive, counterattacks, and pressure. But the difference is for Legacy, they have Siki who cuts, who goes for the crazy stuff, who's really unpredictable and turns them into a completely different team.
Yeah, and he takes a million shots as well, just opening the net for everyone else.
Most shots per game.
To add to that, Delusion has been having a great day so far, and I feel like Legacy might be on fire after that last series.
They were, and even though Cyrix and Delusion were those top 2 players, Siki has the equal highest assists per game across the region. He's got the most shots per game. He's got the 2nd most passes per game behind Delusion, and he's got the 3rd highest touches per game.
And then you combine that with the other 2 guys that are in like the top 5 for shots and goals, and they're pretty okay.
And now apparently has an aerial goal, so now I'm convinced unstoppable.
And that's them having versus Chiefs.
After such a dominant performance in the last series, do you again bet on Legacy, or a Darksided maybe a different monster?
I feel you'd have to be real hysterics to bet against Legacy right now, so I'm going Legacy.
No, I'm also going Legacy. If they hadn't played that well in the last game, I reckon it could be up in the air, but that performance is unstoppable.
Yeah, you'd have to be real hysterics to bet against Legacy. I'm going to go for Legacy here, because that'd be a hysterics thing to do, to go for Darksided. I backed Darksided I think in the series last week against Tainted Minds, and I was really just told to shut up, because that was a dominant series from Tainted by the end.
Yeah.
For Darksided, how their strength is going to go against Legacy, I'm questioning, because Legacy, again, they adapted after the first game.
That was their big thing. They adapted every single game.
And how do they do it against Darksided? Game 1 is going to give us a bit of a tester. Darksided taking on Legacy Esports, and Legacy have just shown up big against Tainted Minds. Now the next person to stand in their way is going to be Darksided. The first shot denied by Cyrix as he comes sweeping through to defend his honor.
And it's going to be a hard push coming through from Siki as he loves to cut and then set up his team 4 shots per game. That is an absolutely disgusting number.
And Siki has been cutting loose, foot loose, with Legacy Esports in the lead in that last series. Darksided now in front of net, continuing to get the offense and pushing forward. A big moment as the first goal could have gone to Legacy. Delusion hits the right angle and secures it.
Slow but steady, the ball bouncing up and down, but it's the setup that was the magic, and it finally clinches out the first goal, and maybe the beginning of the end for Darkside when the Legacy powerhouse starts to roam.
Comes back, knocks it back in. Legacy Esports up to the first goal. And Delusion up to the same mischief he was up to before.
Now we're going to have to see if Darkside can bring it back. They need to control the midfield. They love those pressure plays, and if you can't get control, which they're not because Syric scores again, you're in trouble.
But over the top career, Darksided should have had that. Express. The touch on the ball, bit questionable there. But Syric will lock that one in all the same. Legacy Esports off to a 2-goal start.
And that's a terrible place to be, because Legacy is so difficult to score against that if they hold the lead against you at the beginning, there's no way you can claw back.
Delusion wins out the ball. Express goes forward now for Dumbo. The pass over to Shady. A structured team like Legacy with a similar playstyle to the hard workers in Darksided. It's always a question of does hard work triumph natural skill, and there is natural skill also in Darksided, but now for Legacy, they're proving that their own natural skill has its ways. Dumbo will get the pass. He brings it back down to Shady, trying to center the ball. The follow through denied by Siki as he continues to cut. I just love that Yubby said that. Ball will go all the way back. Syric as well. Siki now up for the ball. Will go a little bit past it. Delusion trying to rotate with it. Legacy Esports have had such a dominant series. Capitalizing on the mistake. Delusion gets the third.
Yeah, they are just running away with this series. After their dominant last match, they're running it through to this one, and Delusion is just taking them apart.
We wanted to say, where do Legacy sit? It was a question on everyone's mind at the start of today. Second, third, or fourth? They versed the Chiefs. They weren't so successful. They versed Tainted Minds. They took them down. Now against Darksided, they are running away. The third goal goes over to Legacy Esports. Now Darksided in front of their net. Express has to rotate back, but Siki's already here. From the corner, he'll drop onto the roof, and up and down he goes. Syric with the pass cross field, and as it goes straight over to Delusion. Legacy Esports are synergizing well as always.
And Darkseid is in a really uncomfortable position. They are the team that has the least shots taken on them. And now they're 3 goals down. When your play style revolves around never getting shot at, you have to take it into the other end and take your own.
Well, Shady actually dribbled that one down from the right wing himself, and that was a good win out. 255, Darksided bring themselves back on the board.
Shady was a pivotal player last week when we saw against Tainted Minds, where he was one of the top goal scorers, making him one of the top goal scorers in the entire league, pumping out over 1 a game.
Darksided now up for the second. Express is there, the shot denied. Express tries to get the bump on the way out as well. Siki popping the ball. In comes Syric. The pass over to Siki. Good play from Legacy. The backboard undefended. Shady's the one waiting on the ground. Delusion. Big clear over to the side. Will turn into a shot if they can get the second bounce. Syric as well. That backboard now defended by Shady. Responded by Express. And Legacy feel like maybe they're letting the ball go a bit more to the Darksided side.
They can't give up the possession if they want to have one chance to hold out this game. Defense may be the name of it, but you don't do that in your half. You do it in the middle to give yourself the opportunity to roam back.
That ball was centered for Delusion. He's the one that follows it up. The backboard is pressured, but not in the right way. Darksided getting that clear over the side. Good save by Syric. Actually, ingenious save by Syric as he lightly pops it over. Delusion uses that and is now on a damn hat trick.
What a counterattack. Not only did they draw the first one, then the second one, and the third one running with his tail between his legs as you beat them back from the castle of RLCS Dreams.
Delusion's already gotten an MVP, folks. He proved that he was an up-and-comer, not even that, a rising star in the OCE Championship. And he's gone past that. Even Syric wants to join in the fun. That'll be narrowly saved, but Legacy continue to apply the burn heal. And unfortunately for Darksided, there are just so many elements that you can't heal at all.
You know you're in a bad place when Siki, the guy who takes all the shots, that launches the Legacy offensive, doesn't have time to run at you because his teammates are scoring so fast.
130 remaining. Legacy have once again moved into that 3-goal lead. Delusion will lose the ball to Shady as it bumps below tire. Darksided trying to push up the field once again, but this is good for Shady. However, Legacy, the ingenious passes keep coming out. I think that's what I'll stick with. Their timings, their passes, the creativity. It is quite ingenious. Yes, it is structured, but boy oh boy. Just times when you just don't see it coming from Legacy. 1 minute left remaining. They bring the ball all the way upfield. Siki doesn't win it out. Express the one to dribble it. Gets past a second, but Sirik's there to recover. Darksider may have just run out of time. The passing plays come up, but could be too little, too late in game number 1.
And they're forced to run back again, fearing what happened last time when Legacy got that huge monster clear leading to a goal. And another one. It doesn't matter. You get back in time. They don't care. They take the goal regardless.
I just don't understand. I've been to Disneyland. I've been to Disney Sea in Japan. Even the rides there weren't as exciting. I knew how they worked, but I just didn't delve into them. With Legacy, I don't know how it happens. I don't know how it's so much fun, but Legacy, I tell you what, better than Disneyland ever could be. 40 seconds, they've taken game 1.
And that is an absolute monster showing. Maybe they're just going for the double Brazil.
Maybe, Korea. They've just decided enough is enough. They took the loss against Chiefs. They've come back even stronger. This is a team that is dedicated and want to go to RLCS. Siki and Sirix have been denied many times. Delusion comes into the roster and is the hot glue that goes into a glue gun.
You love glue.
I love glue. Sammy was glue at one point, but now it's Delusion once again. Legacy Esports, doesn't matter what they do here. Game 1 is theirs, and Darksided struggling to win out against such a powerful team in the OCE Championship.
We're really starting to see the banding that's coming out in OCE. Chiefs, they quickly rose to the top, and now we're seeing Legacy having another opportunity showcasing against that top 4. Just rising above.
Let's take a step back again, Korea. When Tainted Minds came into the OC Championship for the first time, everyone was like, who is this team? Who is previously Pale Horse,
Yep.
for those of you out there who saw them at the last RLCS. Again, people saying, who is this team? Who are they? And now Legacy are doing the same thing. Sirix and Siki have been around for a while, and Delusion in the scene, but not really as active.
Mm-hmm.
But now getting up to the top tier play, they move back in with a different team. And Legacy continue to surprise us. Maybe they will, moving up to RLCS, but this is a very good start.
Yeah, they're like a magic recipe. The sum of the parts was a greater whole than what you'd expect, with Sirix having mixed results. He had that golden days back one more time ago. And then Siki never really got to hit the stride that he wanted. Delusion was on Lynx, which is a bit of a bubble team. And you just take these parts where there's individual talent, and they just start to flourish.
But I mean, is Sirix's golden day gone? Like, it's back. Like, if there was ever a golden day, surely it's now. And with Siki as well, the Avant Gaming roster wasn't one I was super proud of. It wasn't one I was
we made well aware.
And yeah. Oh, damn, I just walked into that one by myself. I apologize. But now, I flip-flopped. It's obvious. Proof's in the pudding. And you dig through the pudding. You get through it. You're hungry enough. And you're like, for some reason, there's proof in my pudding. I don't know what it is. It's fireproof. We're about to jump into game 2. Legacy Esports, they've taken out the first, and they look good doing it.
I have so many questions about your fireproof puddings.
Darksided. They're a team that have been very consistent, and we've seen them quite a lot. Express now over to Shady. The ball goes back up. Legacy on the defense to start things off, but Express has run out of boost. Dumbo with a light touch. It will not work against Legacy as they steal the ball away. Sirix should center it, but he's come off the wall a little bit slow. Shady on the defense, and the ball gets pinched out. Siki waiting back patiently. The demolition onto the Delusion, I believe, will do quite a lot. Pass to Siki again, over to Delusion, and look at this. They look so controlled, and they're getting these dangerous, slippery passes off in such a great way.
Yeah, and they intercept every time the Darkside tries to get a meaningful clear. So if Darkside ever does pass the ball over the pitch, they lose control of it immediately, allowing Legacy to control the midfield. There is never a pressure play coming out of Darkside with this playstyle.
So that bump about 10 seconds ago from Legacy, I mean, just these ways of getting in front of the net. 4 minutes left remaining. Delusion, bang! The front on. It was very aggressive. Legacy Esports find themselves once again in a good position. The dunk down for Delusion's first
goal of this game. But Sirix getting that bump is what's pivotal here. He's someone that loves to come. He plays similar to Jake from Chiefs. He's a reactionary player, comes up, takes lots of shots, but also gets a ton of demos. So whenever you're seeing Delusion run up, look for Sirix in the background making plays.
I mean, Darksided, look, they're struggling here. And for Darksided, they don't normally struggle. They look quite precise. They're the hard workers of OC. They've put in so many hours. They want to be exactly where Legacy is sitting right now, in that top 2. Legacy want to make sure they get 100% into that second position. By winning this game, they definitely will be. Sirix with the pass forward, Siki as well. 1-2, the 3 in front of net. Dumbo goes for the dive and manages to pull it off. As Siki picks up boost, he'll be rotating forward. Big clear coming through from Darkside, but Siki immediately up for the ball from this corner. Legacy Esports continuing to control the pace of this pitch. And Shady, as he gets up for the ball, Delusion coming up for the net as well. This should be good for Legacy Esports. They'll keep it down the side of the field. Only 1-0. Darkside managing to hold out.
Yeah, but they're not managing to do anything with the time they're holding. Legacy have that lead. They're going really wide with their rotations, and it's safe. The fact that Darksided can't intercept the wide rotations mean they're slowly taking them apart. It's like watching Chiefs play.
Really is. Legacy maybe in a tier of their own, maybe not. Shady sinks it through.
He got one of those classic bounces. Shady is the top goal scorer for Darksided, so if it's going to be coming out, it's going to be coming from him.
I mean, that was beating out a defender and something that Darksided haven't really done in this series. They haven't managed to challenge Legacy all too much. 2:45 remaining. Now even on the board for Darksided. This is where they start getting control back in the game.
And they need to get more control. And we're starting to see them push up into Legacy's side. And now the pressure plays can come out if they can just avoid the clears.
I mean, speak of the control, the 1-2-3 was there. Hits the backboard in the final moment. And they have to scurry back. Darkside on the defensive once again. Legacy bring it back up. Siki cheats away for the ball. And Express, although he penetrates the defense, someone should be rotating back. It's Delusion for the pass. It's missed by Dumbo. In fact, it's missed by both. Legacy still managing to hold on 1-1. Darkside are managing to find their way back. That's what's really important here. And a test. That's not good. Express will find second.
Yeah, the adaptation we're seeing come out of Darksided, allowing them to push forward and not worrying about these intercepted passes and stealing the ones of their own. They're playing so fast.
Yeah. I think for career for Darksided, putting the speed up, Legacy start making maybe a couple more mistakes. Maybe you find yourself with game 2.
We have players on the team that are comfortable with speed. Express mechanically is freakish. You have Dumbo, who's famous for playing on other servers, can do those pre-jumps if he needs to guess where the ball's going to land. So you can pick up the pace without it punishing your own side.
But for Legacy, maybe they want to find another couple of faster plays. Siki brings it back after that 1-2. Around from the corner, Delusion will center it again. It drops down. Express with a light touch up. Siki, he's already away. Sirix has to rotate back as well, and Delusion on the other wing. The center's there, but the response quicker from Darksided, and starting to get the measure of Legacy in this game number 2 means that Darksided are starting to come online, and things like this for Dumbo are getting easier.
Dumbo is the goal scorer. I have said it before with Shady. I was slightly off on my numbers, but he's the guy that's been carrying so many of their games. His goals plus assists is just as high as the number of goals they typically let in. Because
Dumbo has been, I guess, the cement again, ladies and gents, for Darksided. No, Dumbo has been a huge player for this team. Now 3-1. You can see why. Sirix off this backboard. This is going to be defended by Dumbo. He's back in time. Around the ball, he goes for the second touch. And Legacy are just trying to get, again, that measure back onto Darksided. Sirix from the center leaves it open for Express, but Dumbo will clear the ball back over. Waiting for the pressure to build up. Darksided have managed to get the 4th.
What a turnaround as well. It looks like a complete inversion of the last game, where they're starting to get the confidence, they're having the speed in the midfield, and it's turning into pass plays that are leading to goals.
Darksided 4-1 may have just taken game number 2, and like Legacy with Tainted Minds, could be a total difference. Game 1, the Feeler. Game 2, the Punisher. And Game 3, all around good guy for us to maybe even out the series. 50 seconds left, and Legacy probably don't have enough time to call this one back.
No, with Shady being so fast the ball, it's going to be difficult because speed is how Darkseid has taken them apart, which is ironic considering Legacy struggled, Tainted Minds struggled to do the same.
Remember with Legacy though, they fall down one game and it doesn't really affect them. You feel like they're always in the same mindset.
They're that mental fortitude that really sets them apart with some of the other rosters.
30 seconds left remaining. Legacy just going to play with the ball a little bit more and hopefully get something here. Darksided, they've got the same idea, stolen away. And a very different series when you consider how similar the playstyles are, Legacy Esports. Maybe Darksided could end up being another Achilles heel for this roster. That one was popped up in Legacy. Again, still struggling to get through Darksided, which will be a later discussion for us in games 3 and 4.
Yeah, it could be like a Legacy Tainted Dark being the new rock, scissor, paper.
Well, yeah. there's a triangle here in OC. There's one that's been developing for many years, and we always thought it was like, okay, Chiefs, beat Darkside, Chiefs beat, well, Tainted Minds. Actually, it's not a triangle. It's not how a triangle works.
You can have a triangle, just the kid throws out Chiefs and it beats everything.
It's like what, rock, paper, scissors, gun.
Yep.
I think that's how it worked back the other day. 4-1, like 6 years ago, by the way. 4-1 for Darkside. That's a very convincing win. Game 2 was not the same. This was Legacy getting punished a lot more.
Yeah, Legacy got punished. Darkside managed to take a measure of control back. We saw the pace of the game just rapidly stepped up, and they could control it. Legacy definitely struggled. They're unable to get any shots, and they struggled with the saves as well. If you look just down the scorecard, not a single save from them. So when the game started to really ramp, they just couldn't match.
That's an issue, because Legacy have always had a sentiment of control at some point. Tainted Minds Game 1, let's take a flashback with Legacy earlier today.
Flashing back.
Which was like 40 minutes ago. Tainted Minds were able to shut down Legacy, put them in their side of the field, but that adaptation was made, and they were able to branch out, I should say. And, sorry, I didn't realize I did that. And for Darksided, now pushing against Legacy, maybe we see that same adaptation again. Maybe we see Legacy change in playstyle for game number 3.
They are quite adaptive, so there's a very good chance they're going to look at back what went wrong, try pick up the pace, or not allow them to get into a position where pace is going to dictate how it's going to go. So shorten the passes, maybe go for more solo plays in a way that won't allow the other team to get in and around you.
Let's see if it happens. Game 3 now. A test for Legacy to continue their good runnings of today. Sirix now passing the ball up, and Darksided, a team that has found wins where it matters, but they took a loss against Tainted Minds, so theoretically you'd say that Legacy have to be the better team. The first shot, it just goes through everyone.
I'm pretty sure we saw that moment, the aerial bump managing to take him out. We see Siki making that collision and leaving the goal open for Sirix to close out the first one.
An issue right now for Darksided is keeping up that momentum from Game 2. Legacy getting that first goal now off the kickoff. That's going to be a banger of a shot. First one almost goes in. Darksided had the net and will eventually maybe not find it. Express thought that one was going in. Hits a crossbar, means Legacy can run up the field with Delusion hand in hand. A quick save, and the ball's starting to speed up a little bit for Legacy Esports.
We talk about Legacy matching the pace, and if you can defend that fast, holding out Express, who's like, whoa, what's going on?
Keeping on the side of the field now, Darksided in defense. Want that big clear to react to immediately. Dumbo will get it eventually. The demolition onto Express. Legacy able to push up the side of the field. Siki there, runs through. Delusion now again, sweeps over the ball. Sirix 2. This is a good pass, but denied by Express. Getting that collision course from Darksided. Express goes past 2. The third defender manages to clear the ball, but still Darksided bringing up those elements from Game 2. Stolen away by Siki once again. Darksided, there's a shot, but Delusion should react. Not quick enough. That one goes in.
And even if they hadn't, they'd already taken all the boost around the pitch and the pressure play had begun, but it closed before it started when Express takes the goal.
Express swings around that ball as well. Delusion was an inch to the left. And Legacy Esports getting that goal scored upon means Darksided find their measure of comfort once again.
He just didn't have the momentum to be able to get up quickly and didn't know where he's going to come from. He gave too much respect to Express, knowing he could take any angle.
Delusion with the bounce on the ramp will enable Siki to get around this corner. Delusion again for the center. Bounces over Express, but can't see Sirix anywhere nearby. Delusion brings it back, and as he follows the ball, the setup king of Legacy Esports will now be out of position, but Sirix getting that better touch. Now able to pop it up. Siki running through as well. Legacy Esports playing around this corner, but managing to get that sentiment of control maybe under their belt.
The demos are continuing to come out from Legacy's half as they're trying to break holes through Darksided's midfield pressure and then eventually push into their half of the pitch.
Sirix hangs back. He'll leave that one for Delusion. Express clears the ball. Sirix gets up for it, and no one's following it just yet, but Shady brings it around, bouncing through. Siki over to Sirix from the corner again. Express will try and roll with the ramp. Gets it past one. Siki now the last defender, but manages to get the clear once again. Dumbo up for the ball. Sirix matches. And the pace for Darksided seems to be in their favor. They're breaking through the defense. They're setting themselves up off that backboard, and Dumbo's gone back, but Shady brings it into fruition. And 3 members of Legacy on the defense here, Korea, means that Dumbo can nail it in, and Express will get demoed, but Shady's up for the ball. It's a light tap down. It's in front of net, but they'll manage to hold out.
But can they break out is the next question. It's all good and well to hold back the defense, but when Darkside controls all the boosts, they control the universe.
It's a horrible looking car, but a great method to get a goal. 1-1, 2 minutes remaining now in front of this goal square. Couple of drifts through. Big clear from Dumbo. Won't matter anymore. 2 minutes remaining. Dumbo bringing it back. Siki. Light touch, but Express back around for the ball for Shady to measure up the ball. Once again, in front of net, the clear. Siki will get it. Express is the only person in defense. A little bit wide anyway, but Siki has the shot blocked. Again, Delusion. Cyrix back. Keeping in defense. Delusion the one we should keep an eye on. Cyrix and Siki rotating back from defense, but Delusion always the midfielder. Always there when it counts. Only a minute 30 remaining.
Yeah, Siki just taking so much boost on the pitch, trying to undo the efforts of Darksided and bleeding them back. So when the pressure play does start, they don't have any resources either, and it's a fair fight.
The aggression coming through from Dumbo. He goes for the second touch. Express will participate in that game as well. Shady for the third. Now the pass upfield. Cyrix will have someone on his bogey. Or tail, I think it's called. Dumbo with the center. Shady as well. Gets the demo. Onto himself, Cyrix. The one who gets it as the ball gets popped upfield. Delusion now waiting for the center to give it over to Cyrix. It's good, but Darkside read it better. Still 1-1, and game 3 is a real test for both of these teams until Delusion pops it up and waits for Cyrix to come forward.
There's just so much on the line. We're playing for a second seed. We're playing for top 6 placements. This could dictate how easy or hard your RLCS run is going to be.
That pacing off the wall, that's good for Legacy. Siki is blocked again. Darksided are reading this passing plays from Legacy Esports. In front of net again, they keep it to the left wing. Shady's been bumped out. No, he's the one actually coming in. Now he's being bumped out as Siki waits in the midfield. Delusion here as well. Good pass down, but Express gets there first. Cyrix the third. He's all the way up. Now for Darksided, they just need to get a big clear. No one's in net. The ball's popped up, but Delusion is always the saving grace of this team. And for Darksided, that could have been their last chance. The ball will eventually be cleared out. Siki the one to do it with 1 second to go. We go into overtime again.
And you can see Darksided didn't want to push that too far. Chose not to go up and let the ball drop for the healthy reset and give them a new opportunity to score.
Only game 3. No one's really making mistakes, but Delusion with the pass back. 3 members of Darksided in defense. Only 10 seconds in. Shady goes for the dribble.
Buying himself some time and his teammates. He saw Siki had rotated out, but they were clustered, unable to make an offensive play.
Well, Darksided, that was close to going in net. Now Cyrix dribbling with the ball. Bumped out of the way is both Cyrix and Delusion, but Delusion's able to recover. It's really important for Legacy as it comes off the wall. Siki will now center the ball for Cyrix. Delusion all the way back. Siki with the pass back for Cyrix. 2 defenders waiting very sturdily in that net.
And Legacy are so safely playing in the middle of the pitch. They don't want to commit. They don't want to go all in, and showing Darkside the respect they deserve.
They bring it to a standstill. There's one final block from Darksided, but the 3 members angle it around this right wing. It's been centered. Dumbo's there from the corner. Darksided managing to get themselves into this position overtime. Legacy need one more game win. They guarantee second. But for Express, he doesn't want it to come through. A little bit wide from Darksided. They brought it in with Dumbo, but that big clear, Express matches it. He wants to follow it in again. Cyrix pops it up. A big clear from Legacy as well.
Yeah, Legacy playing it really fast in the defense. Siki not even bothering with the rear post and staying at front post just so he can get to it quicker because he's scared of the pace of the game.
Darksided. Now a minute 30. They've got Dumbo to bring the ball up. Siki, that's not a big enough clear. This opens it up, but a save from Cyrix. Everyone putting in the hard yards of this Legacy. The aggression continues. A close pop, but a little bit too high. Dumbo comes in. Now how does the counteract start for Legacy? The answer is it doesn't, not yet. Cyrix, however, makes me a wrong man. A good man is Delusion, who doesn't pop up. Legacy now on the defense once again, but Shady blocked out. How does Delusion lose this game? Moments like this for a second save don't look too convincing. But Darksided, they've had shot after shot. but Legacy are holding strong.
Yeah, Express going in for the bumps. They're finding any method to break through the Legacy defense. You're not meant to survive, and they don't, because Express breaks through. The pressure play succeeds.
That angle was insane. Shady comes around the left wing. He pops it past Cyrix. I think it was that light touch into Express as well that finished it off. Darksided getting the leg up on Legacy, and now are on match point, 2-1.
Both of these teams are so hungry for this. You have Dumbo, you have Shady who want to go over for the RLCS. You have Express who wants to do better and take those wins. Then on Legacy, you have the new guys and the guys that never had that opportunity because they didn't have the performance they needed.
But it's just such a similar playstyle that I feel like Legacy, they're struggling a little bit to maybe adapt in this series. Something that Darksided have maybe done better in the past. Darksided now a leg up and a leg to stand on.
I think both teams are just so hungry. They're both just stepping up and up and up, and it's hitting that point where the skill cap is being reached for both of them, and they're really struggling to get that neck ahead.
2-1. Legacy found windows of opportunity. Darksided responded immediately. We've gone into like our 5th overtime of today. We've had like an extra 5 games already, I feel like, of overtime. But for Legacy, it's not over just yet. Darksided have managed to claw their way back, and this is an impressive performance from Darksided. A very impressive performance, but holding that consistency against Legacy has proven to be difficult for other teams than the Chiefs.
Yeah, and beating Legacy is something that no one's ever done. But on the flip side, we haven't seen Legacy with so much experience against these top 4. They've taken on Chiefs, but they're kind of... Losing to Chiefs, that's just kind of assumed, right? They beat out Tainted Minds. There's 3 teams in the top 4. So this is their final hurdle.
This is something they have to get over. If they can't get a second game from Darkseid, there is a potential that that spot could be clinched. Clinched, that's the one. Into game 4. Yeah,
they both kind of were.
Clinched. Could be grasped at. Legacy now. Match point against them. Darksided have played a miraculous game of Rocket League, but off the start of it, Siki was set up for success. Illusion brings it back round. Siki will rotate, but they've already missed one defender. Now Siki again. The adaptation was so necessary in this game. Cyrix up for the ball. Legacy a miss though. And Delusion will try and take it himself.
Now we need to see if Legacy can hold it in their half. It's all good and well to push Darksided forward, but they slowly advance back out like an iceberg rolling towards you in the global warming days.
And I guess Legacy, like the ship, might be crashing into it here today. 1-2. Darksided back around, still on the defensive. Delusion's up for the ball. Dumbo, the final one to clear it out. Shady comes in for the intercept. Siki goes back for boosted. Now will be the last member in defense as Delusion's facing the wrong way. That backboard, the speed of it, the counter clear was pretty good, but Delusion missing that ball. Legacy struggling a little bit here in game number 4. Darksided on match point. This is good for them. Already securing themselves top 4 of both these teams. How much further can they go?
And they've got Legacy pushed into their half. This is where Darkseid thrives. The safe pressure play where they're very rarely punished from the big clears because they can rotate back whilst doing it.
Darksided now on the defensive again. Good clear from Express. Reacted well as it gets popped up, and Legacy have to be careful as it gets sent all the way to the top. Dumbo. He was the man, the mission, the legend. He's been performing well in this series. Shady with a pop-up, but a good center from Cyrix.
It was a great challenge because that's the style they're trying to go for. They're talking about that clears safely off it, but Shady realized this and says, I have to go deep, deny it, and buy time for my team to push up and would let us hold at least somewhere.
Look at the reads from Darksided. The fact that Legacy is struggling so hard is Darksided just seem to be reading the plays from Legacy. Sometimes that can be very, very hard. Siki clearing the ball away won't be good enough because Shady's got the backboard now. Over to Express, the first one for Darksided.
Both of those angles were nutty. The first one coming from the left is so sharp, only to be beaten out by the one from the right. What do you do in that situation?
When you think about it, if Darksided can win this, this will be the triangle of death. Tainted beat Darksided, Legacy beat Tainted, and Darksided will have beaten Legacy. Triangle of death could just be made here today. 2 minutes 50 remaining. Darksided up by 1. That shape only exists if Legacy can't hold out and get another goal. Shady will get that backboard, but now he's out of position. Dumbo brings it back in these counter clears, always working in Darksided's favor. Shady goes up for the ball, but Delusion comes up as well. Legacy will hit that backboard successfully, but Cyrix wasn't expecting that. They're just trying to respond to the what-ifs right now.
and Darkside are comfortable. They're getting that backboard defense up, ready and waiting. So Legacy's going to have to use these demos and open it in a different way.
Off the backboard, Cyrix and Delusion waiting patiently, but the ball's going to go over them once again. Siki tries to get it, reaching the ball past two members of Legacy Esports. Dumbo now the third, and over to Express as the ball is right in front of net. Shady has a light touch. Siki's up for it, but it's keeping Darksided in the loop. Siki will have to do something with this ball because Cyrix doesn't have any boost and Delusion's the only one left. Darksided get it past even them, and that's the demolition. Siki recovers in time, but Darksided just one step ahead. This ball around the corner, that friendly bump, is keeping Darksided happy.
And they all are running on pretty much full boost, and Legacy are running out fast. So if they don't get a breakaway, they're not going to have a chance as Darksided slowly eats them.
Pass upfield from Shady. Darksided managing to get through again.
What do you do when you've got nothing left in the tank and the other ones just run at you? You just can't help it but concede the goal.
Darksided up by 2 minutes 30 remaining. This could be all she wrote for Legacy, and that triangle definitely building itself here, Korea. Something that I never expected was going to happen here today, that Legacy were on such a fiery run, but Darksided managed to come in stronger.
It's because they have that brilliant work ethic. Dumbo works so hard. He's closer to 10,000 hours than he is to none.
Well, that's good, because none would be a bit of a misconception for Dumbo. What? Don't think anyone was expecting that one to go in.
And with that, they're locking away the first game. Dumbo does some insane shots, and when he has the ability to get the passes back from his team, I mean, if he didn't have it, Express certainly did.
3-0 Darksided.
It's like a high-five pass play.
That was a raging high-five, Korea. 115. Darksided have managed to do enough here for what seems like a big defeat for Legacy, and now topsy-turvy are the lineups. Or should I say the matchups? Off the wall, a minute left remaining. Legacy have got to get the first one to even consider a comeback. Siki over to Cyrix, the ball up, but they haven't had as many shots as we've seen in the previous series. Blocked away. Darksided are managing to read Legacy.
And it's paying dividends as they're just taking them apart. Everyone at the desk was saying this is Legacy's game to win, and the score we would have predicted was probably a 3-1. But the inversion just shows how much Darksided wanted this and how much training and practice they've put in to deserve it.
Well, Legacy have one of their few shots in this game, and after being beaten out, Legacy are going to have to go back to the drawing board and wonder why this series wasn't theirs. That one just rolls in, and Delusion sends it to the side. Legacy Esports didn't get that 2-game win, so we'll have to confirm whether Darksided maybe go up closer, maybe someone takes that position off of them between Darksided and Tainted. Legacy Esports will take a loss, but Darksided is a huge win for them to cement themselves in league play.
And looking forward for Darksided as well, where are they going to sit is going to be so interesting. And for Legacy, the pressure is underneath them because they have to step up and go hard.
But not only that, if Darksided can perform this well against Legacy, Chiefs are coming up next. And that is an old grudge match if I've ever seen it. Of course, with Dumbo, different team, but Darksided playing out of their mind there, Yummy.
They were incredible. They stepped up and took down Legacy. You just said step up, so I had to say. And it was a really impressive performance because they completely choked out Legacy, something that no one else, not even Chiefs, have done throughout the entirety of league play. And you kind of saw it happening as it slowly built up. Legacy slowly lost that confidence that we were talking about earlier that allows them to push forward.
Yeah, you can see it on the scoreboard if you just want more proof. 1 shot. And you look at it, Siki, the guy with the most shots. He normally gets 4 a game, and their total is 1.
But no one has choked out Legacy. Like, Legacy have never been this unconfident before.
No.
No, and just they couldn't get the ball out of their half. They weren't finding those defensive passes. They weren't getting those big dribble plays. And a lot of the times they were just caught either with 0 boost or on the back foot.
Yeah, there's so many times where you watch Darksided, they're on like 97 boost, and they take big boost just to shut down any chance of Legacy taking one.
It was a pain for Legacy, but they've still taken the win against Tainted Minds. Against Darksided, however, this creates a triangle I was talking about. Tainted have beaten Darksided. Darksided have beaten Legacy, and Legacy have beaten Tainted. So where do the 3 of them sit?
Well, Legacy sit in second place, basically. Because of their performance throughout the season, Legacy The only chance of not getting second place now is if Darksided 3-0 Chiefs. So Darksided could take second place if they have like the best performance.
I mean, off the back of that's the best hope you can have, right?
Yeah.
Off the back of that, that was a great performance. Now let's get a contender from you, gentlemen, before we get to the end and talk about our break as we do.
You give us to us and I'll confirm or deny.
I was going to say Delusion, just because I like Delusion. No. Of course, in that series, I believe Dumbo strongly stepped up.
It was shady. It was shady all the way. He was the big part. He was the goal scorer. He was also the assister. He was the one holding them in the defense the entire time.
All three members of Darksided. I'm just going to say that to finish off. If you want to get involved with Rocket League, ladies and gents, throwdownesports.com. We have... Thank you very much. We have our open qualifier coming up next Wednesday at 7 p.m. AEST, with our seniors division and our open division, of course, with $750 prize pool. We are going to go to a quick 5-minute break, and when we return, Darksided will be taking on the Chiefs in what is yet another game of the day.